In this lesson, I'm going to explain two specialized keyframes. One's called Hold. The other one is a group of keyframes referred to as Easy Ease. To follow along, go to Working Files, After Effects Projects, and 0504 Hold Easy Ease. We're going to start where we left off in the previous exercise. I want to have the motion for the tennis ball here and for the text be a little bit more realistic. Let's take a look at the text first. The text kind of comes in and then kind of slams down. Now we're kind of doing a little bit of a preview mode here, but when it comes in, it kind of just hits the bottom there and stops. It's instant acceleration and instant deceleration. That's called linear motion. I'd rather have it be a little more gradual, and you do that with Easy Ease keyframes. Let's take a look at the tennis text. I'll click on it, open up its position so we can see the position keyframes. And I want to ease into this last keyframe there instead of kind of slamming down. To ease in, just right-click on a keyframe and go to Keyframe Assistant, and there's Easy Ease in and out. Easy Ease kind of does both. It eases in and eases out. In this case, we want to ease into the last keyframe. There you go. Now it changes to that kind of a keyframe icon. Looks like it's kind of sliding in there, that little gap there. Let's take a look and see how that plays. Might need to preview once and then it'll play smoothly, but let's just try that out there. See how it kind of just sort of slowed down just a little bit more subtle there at the end instead of sort of slamming into the bottom. Let's take a look at the tennis ball. Close this up and open up the tennis ball's position by clicking on it and press P for position. We could also apply Easy Ease to the scale, but the scale is not that obvious in terms of it changing. The position is what is more obvious. We have three keyframes here. The ball flies off the racket. Let's turn off the display of the motion path for now. The ball flies off the tennis racket quickly. And now it's RAM previewing, so it's slowing down. Let's just try that again when it gets past there. Here we go, one more time. This time it flies off, wham, instant acceleration and instant deceleration. Just stops there instead of kind of going in easily. Let's ease out of that first shot there by right-clicking on this guy. Keyframe Assistant, Easy Ease Out. Let's ease into the last one. Right-click on the last one, Easy Ease In. And we won't touch the one in the middle here, and you'll see why in a second. Let's just watch this guy. It needs to RAM preview again because we changed the keyframe, so hang on one moment while we do that. Okay, let's play it now. Now it comes up more gradually, and I like that way it settles down like that. Kind of, I like that. Now if we Easy Ease the center, it gets kind of loopy here. It doesn't really behave naturally. Usually you don't put Easy Ease in the middle of two keyframes like this. I'll right-click on this, go Keyframe Assistant Easy Ease. There we go. Okay, let's play it now. Preview past there one time, and now we'll go by there again. Here we go. It kind of swirls around there, so it kind of has a little arc to it there. Not what we want to do, I think, in this case. So we need to get rid of that. I could go Control or Command Z to undo that, but let me show you another way to do that. I'll right-click on it. If I go to Keyframe Assistant, there isn't anything here that sort of says, go back to where you were. What you need to do is go to Keyframe Interpolation. What we've done here, we've got two kinds of interpolation going on. We've got spatial, that's the Bezier curves that we made when we drag these handles around, because that's stuff going on in space. Temporal interpolation is how it behaves in time, meaning its acceleration. We changed it from linear to this Easy Ease thing here. So I'm going to get rid of that by changing the temporal interpolation back to linear for that single keyframe. Click OK, and that goes back to a diamond, indicating it's a linear keyframe. That's the way I really want to see this play. And then it settles down like that. Okay, let's move on to something else now. I've got a couple of tires that I want to work with. They're both kind of large here. I'm going to open up their scale for the two of them, so I'm going to go Control or Command A to select both of them. I'm going to press S to open up their scale. I'm going to scale them down here. There we go. You really can't see there are two tires there, but trust me, there are. I'll click away to deselect them. Click on the car tire there and move that one over there like that. There we go. I got the bike tire over here. What I want to do is I want to spin both of them and have them touch each other so it appears that one is causing the other one to spin. But we'll just work with one tire at first here. Let me move the bike tire a little bit farther out of the way. We'll deal with this one in particular. I want to be able to spin them and have them be different sizes and have them spin at an accurate rate. So I need to set the circumferences or the diameters such that there's an easy multiple in terms of how I can spin them. So I need to find out how big this guy is and set it at some kind of a size. Right now it's set to a scale at a percentage. I want to set it to a scale of pixels. To do that, you just need to right-click on that value down here for the car tire. Right-click on that, and it says Edit Value. It opens up this scale dialog box, and I want to go to pixels instead of percent. Pixels. I want to make it easier. I'm going to go to 1,000 pixels here, so I'll just type in 1,000. And since we're linked, the other one is 1,000 as well. Click that. So now it's a little bit bigger. It's 1,000 pixels across. So the diameter is 1,000 pixels. Later, I'm going to make the bike tire 500 pixels, so it's half the diameter, which means its circumference is half because, circumference is pi times the diameter. So you cut the diameter in half, and the circumference is cut in half. All right. I want to make this guy rotate here, this big tire there, the car tire. So I need to turn on rotation instead of scale. To do that, I can just press R, and R will replace scale of what's displayed here. Turn on keyframes so we can get this thing rolling. I want to go about halfway in, let's say 5 seconds. Let's have it rotate, let's say, 4 times. So if I go here where it says 0x, I'm going to replace 0 with 4. Now it'll rotate forward 4 times. Let's see how that looks. There you go. And then it's going to stop when it gets to the keyframe, because there's nothing after it. Okay, well that's how keyframes work. There's a beginning and an end to a change. Now I want to have this one be the beginning and have an end over here. So I'm going to press the end key to take the current time indicator to the end of this comp. And to create a real smooth loop, I'm going to have it go one more frame, which may seem counterintuitive, but we're going to go 1 frame past the end of the comp by pressing the page down key to go 1 more frame. We're off the comp. We were out of it, but we can still put a keyframe there. So I want to have this guy rotate backwards. So to do that, all I need to do is have it go back to 0. So I'll press 0 there and click away. So now it's going to go backwards. I'll show you what I mean. It starts here and then it reverses the other direction. I'll go here and it goes up and then it goes suddenly the other direction. Okay, because it's going back to 0 essentially. Well, that's kind of awkward. That would just go abruptly like that. Just bang, like someone just hit it with a sledgehammer or something. So I want to ease that process. I'm going to right click on this guy here in the center. Go keyframe assistant and just easy ease. It'll ease in and ease out. It'll look more realistic. Kind of slows down and then speeds up again. Is that cool? Try that again. Watch. Kind of slows in there and then as if someone just kind of slowly put the brakes on and then reversed it. It's really a slick thing. And when it gets to the end, let's see what happens there. It's going to get to the end. It's going to abruptly stop and rotate the other direction. So we can ease into this last keyframe. Ease into that one. And we can ease out of this one. And now when it gets to the end, it'll go back to the beginning. It'll automatically loop in terms of how comps work here. So I'll just play that like that. It's going to get to the center. It's going to gradually slow down in the center and then reverse. Then it's going to get to the end and it's going to gradually slow down at the end. And then it'll smoothly loop because we put the keyframe at the end 1 frame after it. It's just a way to make sure that the actual last thing here is 1 frame before the beginning of this. Have to kind of think about that one for a while to understand how that works. It's a way to make things loop smoothly, to have the last keyframe be 1 frame after the end of the comp and have that last keyframe equal this one over here. Let's have the bike tire, this tire bike TIFF. We want it to look like it's being run by this one here, so we need to have it reverse the direction. And also I want to make it smaller. So I'm going to right click on this guy, go to edit value, change its width to half of this one, make this one 500. Height isn't important here because it's the width that we're talking about here. Click OK. There we go. Now I want to have this thing right up against this tire there, as if it's touching. And I want it to rotate at twice the speed of this one here, because for every rotation of this guy goes twice to match it. So let's go back to the beginning by pressing the home key. Home key is a keyboard shortcut to move the current time indicator to the beginning of the comp. Turn on keyframes for rotation there, so I need to switch to rotation by pressing the R key. That'll replace scale. There you go. Setting it to 0. Let's go exactly to this keyframe. Let's navigate to that keyframe. I could drag there and be approximately there. But I'm going to go there exactly by navigating with this little triangle there to it exactly. I'm still working up here, though. This is what's active. I need to have this guy rotate twice as many as this time. If I go 8x, then it's going to rotate the same direction, which isn't right. They'll be scraping against each other. So I go minus 8x. Just minus 8 is enough. It automatically adds the x. Then I'm going to go to the end, page down to go 1 more frame, and have it go back to 0. Now I need to turn on easy ease or it just won't look normal. If you see this guy, it'll just stop abruptly when it gets to the center instead of slowing down. See how it's not slowing down, just immediately turns around. So let's have it match the behavior of this guy. Right click here, easy ease, period. Right click here, have it easy ease out. And right click over here to have it easy ease in. There we go. Go back to the home. Let me click away here so you don't see the bounding box going around. We'll try that again. Let me just put on transparency, see how that makes a difference too. There they go. Slowing down. I'm going to zoom in a bit on this so you can get a little closer look. I'll go Control plus. Try that. See how it behaves at the center there. Looks like one is pushing the other. There we go. Very good. I added those little bits of text to those tires just so you can see that they're actually rotating. Otherwise, it's hard to spot that they're rotating. There you go. So that's how you can use easy ease to cause the rotation behavior to be a little more normal. All right, let's move over to the motion flowers and bees comp. I've got some flowers here, and I have this bee that I want to fly from flower to flower. We're going to use hold keyframes to accomplish that because we want the bee to stop at a flower and then move on to the next one. And we can use duplicate keyframes to simulate that, but if I apply easy ease to those keyframes, then the behavior gets a little strange. So hold is the way to go here. Let's open up the bee to its scale and its position. Now to show both at once, I hold down the Shift key, then press P for position. I'm going to turn on keyframes for both those guys here right at the beginning. There we go. Now I'm going to adjust its position here off the side. I'm going to change its scale a little bit first. Let me see how big I want it to be. I'm going to have it go to, let's say, this little flower over there. So it needs to be kind of a realistic size there. So bring it down to there. Okay. And now I'm going to move it off screen. So its initial position will be here, right, coming between those two flowers there like that. So even though I kind of did all the shenanigans back and forth there, where it ends up there is what the keyframe values will be. Let's move forward a little bit and we'll have it fly in. So now we're a little more than a second in. I'll just move it to that flower like so. It's a straight line now, but we can fix that later. There we go. And I need to have the scale be the same from point A to point B here. So I'm going to click on scale to copy it. Go Control or Command C to copy it. Now I'm going to go Control or Command V to paste it just to make sure the scale doesn't change from point A to point B. Now I'm going to go a little bit farther here, and I want it to just sit there on the flower for a while. So I'm going to copy the position keyframe, click on that, go Control or Command C, and then Control or Command V to paste it. So now it's just going to sit there, which is fine. It comes in, stops, and sits, which would be fine. I can leave it like that, but when I do easy ease, it's going to kind of swirl around. So I need to convert this keyframe there to a hold keyframe so we can use easy ease without the little swirly behavior. So right click on this keyframe and say toggle hold keyframe. And now it gets this little look to it where it's coming in from the left. It's not a hold there, but coming out, it's a hold. That's the little square side there, that flat side says it's a hold as it goes out. And it'll hold till the next keyframe tells it to move. This next keyframe is the same. It won't tell it to move yet, but out of that keyframe, it'll start moving, which is how we want it to work. So it's going to hold there for a while. Then we want it to move someplace else, down to here, let's say. And I just grabbed this and moved this, and what I grabbed was the hold keyframe. See how it turned yellow there? It's kind of tricky. So I'm going to go back here now and click on this keyframe. That might help me grab the right one here. Try that again. There you go. Sometimes it's tricky to get the keyframes right. And now if I change scale now, it's going to change scale from there where it's holding to here. And I'd rather have the scale change from here where it's coming out. So I'm going to take this scale keyframe and move it to the right place and make sure it lines up with this guy. Hold on the Shift key and it'll snap to that spot. Now the scale is in the right location. I want to hold this guy for a while, so I'm going to go a little bit farther forward, like that, have it stop there for a while. Click on this to select it, go Control or Command C to copy it, and Control or Command V to paste it, and then right click on this one here to hold it as well. Toggle hold animation. Let's just see how this works to this point here. It comes in. Let me turn off the motion track there. See that again now. Here we go. Comes in, stops, comes here, stops. All right. Now, obviously, we need to get the scale up. So where it gets to this little flower right there, to that keyframe, and navigate right to it just to make sure I'm on it. There we go. I want the scale to come up quite a bit. So let's just have it scale up. See how that looks. There you go. And actually, when we scale it up, we see that probably should be a slightly different position. So as long as we're in the right place there on top of that keyframe, I'll make sure we are on that keyframe. There we go. By navigating over here on the left-hand side with those two triangles, we're on the correct keyframe. I'm going to move it up just a little bit here. There you go. Just have it go right there. Now its scale is set here. It moved from that scale to that scale. Now I want to hold it for a while there. And since I changed the position, I'm going to take this keyframe away now because I did change the position. It'll jump there. So let's just Copy this keyframe by going Control C and go out here to Control V. And it's going to be a hold now. I don't want it to be a hold, so I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to say keyframe interpolation. I want it to be not hold, but linear. There we go. Now we're back to being linear. Now I want to tell it to go out of there to the next flower. So I would go to this flower here. So take it over there and drag it over to that flower. I'm thinking maybe it could be a little bit larger. So we need to make sure the scale stays put from here to here. So I'm going to take this scale, Control or Command C to copy it. Go to this little spot there, go Control or Command V to paste it so the scale stays the same. When it gets over here, let's just make a little bit larger scale. Let's scale it up just a little bit there, just to have a little bit of variety. I'm going to copy this keyframe here on top, the position, Control or Command C, go ahead a little bit so we can have it sit there for a while. Control or Command V, convert this into a hold keyframe, and then finally we'll have this thing go away off the screen. So we'll take it up here and have it go off the screen like that. As it goes off the screen, let me change the scale. Now the thing is, we don't want the scale to change from here where it lands on the flower. It needs to change from here when it goes out. So I'll take the scale keyframe, copy it, and then paste it over there to make sure it holds position there. Now at the end here, we'll have it scale way down, and I'll move it off the screen in a second, but let's just see how the scale works here. See if it's flying off in the distance like that. Now we'll make sure we're on the proper position keyframe just by jumping back and forth to it there, and we'll take it and get it off the screen like so. All right, let's just see how those guys look. Comes in, settles down, goes to the next guy, gets a little bit bigger, and goes off into the distance. Very good, works fine. What we want to do now is make the flight pattern a little bit more realistic in terms of acceleration. So we can ease out of the first one, right click, go keyframe assistant, ease out. We're going to ease into the hold keyframe, keyframe assistant, ease in. Then we're going to ease out of this one. So right click on that one, go ease out. There you go. So let's see how that works. This is the beginning here. I'll turn off the motion path so you can see that. Comes in, settles down, takes off, settles down, and then it's going to take off the next one, which we've not set ease out on the next one yet. So I would set ease out on this one. It's going to go like that. It sits there, and then go ease out on this one. So I'm going to select both of those guys by shift clicking on them. If I control click on these separate ones, like you think when you want to select separate things, it'll convert them to another kind of keyframe. So you shift click on keyframes to select non-contiguous keyframes like that. I'm going to right click on both of them by right clicking on one of them, keyframe assistant, and ease out. That'll ease out of both of them. See the little thing is curved out on that one? There you go. We can ease in on this last one. There we go. So let's just see how this whole thing is playing out here. Comes in, settles down, settles down, settles down. This guy didn't have an ease in, so thinking I want to get this guy ease into this. I want to right click on that, keyframe assistant, ease in, keyframe assistant here, ease in on that one as well. Now to be a little bit more realistic as it comes to each flower. Settle down and then go off. Also, I can probably change the speed there. It went from one flower to the next between those two flowers right there. Probably want to slow it down a bit. So I'm going to select all these keyframes by marquee selecting them and dragging them all to the right a bit. Now that'll be a little slower transition from that flower to that flower. There you go, and that'll be a little slower going off like that. There you go. So that's how that works. Now what I could do also is to make the flight path a little more realistic, to give it a little more of a curve to it, is I can go up to the first keyframe, click on that, adjust the handles, have it kind of fly in a little bit and loop in a little bit, and I can click on the next one as well and move its handles as well and work on my way through all these guys, getting these handles to be just a little more comfortable in terms of how the little bee behaves as I go from one handle to the next. And when we're done, it'll be a nice and smooth flight path through all of these flowers. So that's how you use ease and hold keyframes to give your animation a little bit more of a realistic feel to it.